all-round nice guy, and what a talent he is. I think it's kind of self-explanatory, Matt. We just heard the track. Okay, Bank Holiday Monday. It's Matt Tancock in On Your Radios. Hello, thank you for joining us. We need to talk about a topic which, to most people, is going to sound like quite a chore. Maybe that's understating it. On the phone with me is Isaac Kenyon, who is planning on breaking a record and doing it in quite a spectacular fashion for a very good reason. In fact, Isaac Kenyon from Devon joins me. Isaac, hi, welcome to the show. When we were catching up off air there, I said, you're kind of resting up before you get yourself stuck into this big triathlon that you're doing. He said, actually, I've been doing a bit of cycling today. Have you?
Yes, I just finished a quite long cycle, the Devon coast to coast route.
Right, okay.
going from north to south.
North to south. So where does that take you along and through? Where do you start? Where do you head through? And where do you finish?
Yeah, and it's quite a famous route. I used the Sustrans route 2 from Ilfracombe, and then I went via route 2 to Dartmoor, and all the way through then to Plymouth, and then that was the finish. So it was a good 140 kilometers. A nice training session, I think, for the bigger challenge coming, but we're going to talk about.
Yeah, a nice little warm-up, you might say. Well, actually, you've probably seen half of our listeners this weekend then on your travels, by the sounds of it. You've done the whole counter. You've done a better job than me. Look, right, so how was it? Was it classic Devon weather, did you say? Bit on, bit off. Changeable, I think they call it, don't they?
Yeah, changeable is a nice word for it. Changeable weather. Yeah, I really like. Yeah, it was pretty much, be prepared for everything. It wasn't too cold though. That's great. It was summer. It wasn't too cold. So it was just a matter of your normal cycling wear and then a few waterproofs here and there.
Well, this is preparing you for something big that you are planning on doing. You're planning on doing the Ironman with a bit of a twist to it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But explain to us, for those who don't know, what is the Ironman? What's that?
So the Ironman event is an ultra-endurance triathlon. It is a triathlon that spans, in total, 140.6 miles. There's a 2.4-mile swim at the start, in which you just immediately transition into a 112-mile bicycle ride. At the end of that, you drop off the bike and you're straight on a trail run or a run, which is a marathon distance. And then you've completed an Ironman. So usually it takes people, between, on average, 10 to sort of 15 hours. That's the average. The elites can do it in sort of 7 or 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
But most people do it in that sort of time frame. So it's a big, long day.
So have you done an Ironman before, or is this your first one?
I have done an Ironman in a sense, like just a training one.
Okay.
Not in. It wasn't an official event. I just did the distance and to see if I could do it.
I see. Yeah. Okay. So you kind of can theoretically do it. It's all putting it together and making it work on the day with a little twist, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Now, I get the impression. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong here. Are you more, when it comes to choosing your sport out of those three, are you more of the cyclist side of it?
Well, surprisingly not. That's why I've been training so much on the cycling, because that's my weakest. I am strongest as a swimmer, and that's the reason why I think I can do this challenge that we're going to talk about, is because the hardest part is going to be the swim part.
Yes.
And when people hear this, they will say immediately, oh, wow, okay.
So that's the bit you're least looking forward to?
That's the bit where I am strongest as a swimmer, but also wary that it's the most dangerous part and potentially the bit where I might fail on. So
why is this then? What are you doing to yourself to make this it's already incredibly difficult challenge that people might only if they're really lucky and after a lot of training complete once in their lifetime? What are you doing just to top it off?
So I'm adding a 15-kilogram weighted vest for the whole entire duration. So the weight surrounds my top body, or like around my back and my front. So it's like wearing a jacket that's 15 kilograms. So you're adding a lot more weight. And there's reasons for doing this. It's not just because I like pain.
Well, yeah,
There was a metaphorical message in this.
So tell us a bit about that then. Why the backpack and why the 15 kilograms? Because there is like you said, there's a reason for this.
Yeah, so it's not just about conquering a physical challenge. This is a metaphor for the burdens of mental health struggles. Every step I'm carrying these weights, people battling anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, in the dark, in the silence, And generally what happens is they have these hard days, and these hard days are the Ironman, but then they have these mental health struggles, and that's the weighted vest. And the two combined can be quite, it can tip you over. So it's about kind of sharing that sort of resilience and empathy for those who, need to go through some open conversations and alleviate their sort of hidden weights that they're holding in their minds. I mean, I for one come from that background. I've had poor mental health, so I know what it feels like to stay silent, and it generally didn't help me. So no. I'm asking through this message, I'm trying to portray that we should remove the weight. So at the end, I'll take the weighted vest off and put it on the ground. We should remove the weight by speaking out and beating that stigma. I'm just kind of wrap my head around this metaphor. You've clearly really thought about this, because again, other people doing that Ironman, they might not be able to see it's a weighted vest, and that's kind of actually the point of it, isn't it? You can look at people around you and not know that they're carrying that weight on them at an already incredibly difficult time, right? Yeah, that's it. Cost of living, that's been really, really tough on us. We come out of a pandemic, which was tough on the mental health crisis, and now we've gone straight into another sort of mental health crisis. And I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, but even the social groups that used to be affected, that predominantly used to be sort of men, sort of around 30 to 40, were the most vulnerable and fastest growing group for issues of suicide. Yeah. But now it's under 18s. Young children are facing this, so it's really important that we do this. And I'm doing the challenge on World Suicide Prevention Day, so that's the reason I've chosen a date to do the challenge as well, to bring that to light as well.
So which way did it start round for you? Clearly this is something you're passionate about and is very close to home for you. Did it start out as because as you mentioned, you're a strong swimmer anyway, did it start out as, I want to do an Ironman, and then you had this idea to do that, or did you want to start out bringing attention to this kind of close to home issue for you?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do a challenge that was to bring this close to home message. Mental health is like one of the biggest things on my agenda at the moment. I'm seeing so many issues from that, from friends, family, to all sorts of people who are all suffering from mental health, and it's getting worse. And I wanted to, what can I do? And I thought I can raise awareness, because that's what I'm good at, sports and things like that. So I thought let's do something like this. Sure. And we'll use that to raise awareness and funds as well. I mean, mental health has been underfunded for years. I mean, at the minute we've been given some funds from the government to support local small charities, but it's kind of like putting a plaster on a gushing wound. so we need to really push the awareness and really bring this to light, because if everyone's got poor mental health, nothing's going to go well. No one's productivity will work out. So if we can work together, support each other, and actually sort of start moving awareness and funds into the right places, we can kind of support ourselves in these crises like the cost of living.
Yeah. I mean, I think because you're 29, is that right?
Yeah, 29, yeah.
Okay, so for you, this is, again, you're seeing, I suppose, both sides of the spectrum here, because you were talking then about, that statistic of the average age of men that it affects most, but also now the younger generation that are coming up behind you. So you're kind of stuck, you're in that in-between stage where you're seeing it from both ends. So I can see why this is something which is really, I suppose, close to home and special for you, and I can tell that you're passionate about it as well, which is why it was really good to get you on and chat. Now, I mean, I hate to bog yourself down in logistics, but humour me if you will. This backpack, right now, or this kind of a 15-kilogram weighted thing that you're carrying around. What is it? Did you say it was a top, or is it a backpack, or what is it? And how does it work? Because we've all been doing a bit of exercise before, and maybe disliking it somewhat. The worst thing you can get is a bit of chafing as well. So, want to avoid that. How are you avoiding that situation?
Yeah, so for the swim part, so this is the hardest part. Okay, so this is the part where I could sink. So I've got a wetsuit which I'll be swimming in. So hopefully that takes more of the rubbing. But I've swum with a wetsuit with this weighted vest already, and it's been able to almost wear into the wetsuit. It's going to be quite tricky to maintain it. So I actually got a wetsuit with a it's like a hood, where you can get sort of a dive hood.
Yes.
That goes over your head and your neck. So the weighted vest, it kind of sits like a t-shirt on you. And then it can actually rub into your neck when you're swimming, because you're using your arms, your shoulders, rotator cuffs. So you can imagine every stroke I do, I'm pushing that weighted vest into my sort of neck, and it's not like a nice fabric. It's not a nice fabric, right? So I've tried to protect myself with the wetsuit around my neck and areas. And then on the cycle, it's a bit easier, because it just sits there, and I'm not really moving my arms much. It's just on the legs.
Okay.
And because it's the weight is on the top body, it's not going to affect too much on the bike, apart from the fact that I might not be able to breathe a bit, because the weighted vest has to be kind of put on quite tight. So I can't like properly take in a full breath. So I've got to take kind of slightly shorter breaths, because then what happens is as you do a big breath, like my rib cage will like kind of be crushed a bit. So I've been training to breathe differently, but also maintain the right amount of breath that I need for each of these challenges. And so there's enormous discomfort, and there's going to be difficulty breathing. But I think with training and all the preparation I've done, I feel confident I can do it. And I've done all the teetering, when you just work out what goes wrong and what goes right and what goes wrong. I've been doing all that for the summer.
I was gonna sit you down then and have a bit of a one-to-one, because I was like, Isaac, have you actually thought about it? You've mentioned crushing, breathing, and sinking. I hope we've really thought about this. Okay, so you have gone through it all and thought of what can go wrong and trained for it as well, like you said, right? You're fully on top of this.
I have support as well, right? So I have people around me in case I need get out of the pool. Not the pool. I'm in a lake. I'm doing it in a lake. Get out the lake card, sort of thing.
Okay.
But, that's what. And it's Velcro, so I can always take it off really quickly. So
good.
It's
Now, okay, so we've got a number here, right? So 15 kilograms is a number, it's a weight. I want to know for people who are listening now and thinking, but how much percentage-wise, like difficulty, would you say, because you've experienced it, does that add on as a percentage number? Because say for example, you've got your Ironman competition and you're using 80% of your effort in that. How much does a 15 kilogram backpack add on in difficulty?
Yeah, well, I've never ever thought of it as a number before, but I would say it's definitely like an additional sort of 60-70% difficulty, because one, you've got drag.
Yes.
And you're carrying weight that you don't usually carry. 15 kg is an enormous amount of weight, and if you're, especially, I'm quite light already. I'm 70 kg. Which is in rowing terms, that's a lightweight. So I'm actually quite light anyway. So I'm adding 15 kg to that. That's almost, someone who has almost doubled in size in muscle compared to me. So it's it's going to be a lot more tricky from that perspective. But the drag factor as well is a big deal, because I'm cycling with more stuff sticking out. I'm swimming, pushing through more surface area, so that's going to make my swim slower. And then the run itself, it because the weight vest, it bounces a lot. So sort of the impact and going up and down hills as well. Think about sort of gravity there. So I've got this 15 kg and uphill. It's like I don't know if anyone has done bike touring or something, and you're pulling something behind you. You've got loads of panniers on your bike.
Sure,
It's almost like that sort of vibe that I'll have for the whole time. So I would say 60-70%. I think if it was 30 kg, I would go it's double the percentage.
Right. Okay, Isaac. Thank you so much for coming on and explaining that. We are wishing you the best. We are cheering you on very much from the sidelines with a warm coat and a cup of tea, but we are cheering you on nonetheless. I think it's an incredible thing that you're doing, and the reason that you're doing it is quite amazing as well. And it's not long, right, until you need to be what's the date? It's the 10th, is it, of September?
Yes. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to start on the 9th and finish on the 10th, because it's likely I'll finish in the next day. It's going to be a late one.
Wow.
And if anyone wants to find out more, they can go to my website, isaackenyon.com, and then you'll find some tabs, and there's also donation links to a mental health charity that I'm supporting. And yeah, it should be a really good sort of day. You might spot me. I'm doing it in Exmoor. So Exmoor National Park, I'll be going up and down around those hills, those coastlines. So you might see some crazy guy with a weighted vest on that day.
Please, if you see Isaac, please cheer him on, because I know that will probably mean a lot to you. You know, seeing that sort of support when you probably need it most. Let's be honest. Isaac, look, we wish you the best, and I've never meant this more in my life. Good luck, okay? Good luck.
Thank you so much, Matt. Cheers.
Matt Tancock,
BBC Radio Devon.